The quantum sensors aboard the Lunar Defense Station Delta picked up the anomaly first, a cascade of crystalline structures materializing at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Dr. Sarah Chen watched as her monitoring systems lit up like a Christmas tree, holographic displays showing energy signatures unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. "Director Walsh," she called, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "You need to see this." The station's director appeared at her shoulder within moments, his weathered face illuminated by the ethereal glow of the quantum displays. The objects, ships, they had to be ships, were arranging themselves into a perfect geodesic sphere, each vessel gleaming like a facet of an impossible diamond. "How many?" Walsh asked, his eyes narrowing as he studied the formation. 327 distinct signatures," Sarah replied, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface, each one approximately 3 kilometers in length. "They're maintaining perfect geometric alignment, despite the solar winds and gravitational influences. Sir, this isn't natural. This is a show of force." Walsh nodded grimly. "Get me a direct line to the Earth Defense Council. Priority Alpha." Within the hour, humanity's leadership had gathered in the underground chambers beneath Geneva. The council chamber was a marvel of engineering, its walls lined with quantum-encrypted communication arrays and neural interfaces that connected the world's decision-makers in real time. General Isabella Martinez, Supreme Commander of Earth's Combined Defense Forces, stood at the center of the chamber, her hologram projected simultaneously to military installations across the solar system. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "at 600 UTC, we detected the arrival of an alien fleet at the edge of our solar system. Their technology appears to be centuries beyond what we show to the rest of the galaxy. Yes, you heard that correctly, what we show to the galaxy." A murmur rippled through the assembled leaders. For decades, humanity had maintained a careful facade of technological mediocrity. After the first hints of alien observation in the late 21st century, Earth's nations had united in an unprecedented way, agreeing to hide their true capabilities behind a veneer of primitive spaceflight and basic quantum mechanics. The Meridian Collective, as they call themselves, have just transmitted their first message, Martinez continued, her expression grim. "I think you should hear it for yourselves." The air in the chamber shimmered as a crystalline form materialized, a holographic projection of a being that seemed to be composed of living geometry. When it spoke, its voice resonated at frequencies that made the quantum sensors vibrate in sympathy. "People of Earth," the being's thoughts translated directly into comprehensible speech, "we are the Meridian Collective. For millennia, we have guided younger species toward enlightenment through integration into our perfect geometric harmony. Your civilization has been deemed sufficiently advanced to receive our blessing. You will be uplifted, your biological and technological imperfections corrected, your chaotic individuality refined into crystalline perfection. Resistance is not advised. You have observed only a fraction of our fleet's true form. Accept our guidance or face geometric correction." The transmission ended, leaving the chamber in silence. General Martinez let the quiet linger for a moment before speaking again. "They've given us 48 hours to respond. Their scans suggest they believe we're barely capable of maintaining our Mars colonies. They don't know about the quantum fold. They don't know about the Lazarus Protocol. Most importantly, they don't know about Project Prometheus." Director Walsh's voice cut through the tension. "The question is, do we show them now, or do we wait until they force our hand?" "Neither." A new voice spoke. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, head of the Prometheus Initiative, stepped forward. Her next words would set in motion a chain of events that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity forever. "We give them one morning, one chance to recognize what they're dealing with, and if they don't listen..." She paused, her eyes reflecting the crystalline ships displayed above the chamber. "Then we show them why humanity has spent the last 50 years preparing for exactly this moment." In the depths of space, the crystalline fleet continued its perfect geometric dance, unaware that beneath Earth's carefully constructed mask of primitive technology lay a sleeping giant. A giant that was about to wake up. The warning would go out within the hour. Whether the Meridian Collective would heed it was another matter entirely. But one thing was certain. Humanity was done hiding. The quantum-encrypted message from Earth reached the Meridian fleet exactly 24 hours after their ultimatum. In the heart of Geneva's underground command center, Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched as the transmission was acknowledged, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the crystalline fleet's reaction. "They're reconfiguring," Sarah Chen reported from her station, her fingers moving across the quantum interface. "The geometric pattern is shifting to what appears to be a defensive formation." The message Earth had sent was simple, a carefully curated demonstration of humanity's true history. Not the sanitized version they showed to the stars, but the raw, unfiltered story of a species that had survived against impossible odds. The images started with the ancient wars, progressed through the nuclear age, showed the near-extinction events, and humanity's remarkable ability to not just survive, but thrive. Energy spike detected in their central node, Walsh announced, his voice tense. "They're preparing to respond." The crystalline being materialized in their command center once again, its geometric form somehow conveying both curiosity and disdain. "Your species' capacity for violence is noted," it stated, "but primitive conflict does not impress the collective. We have guided 1,000 species beyond such chaos." Elena stepped forward, her movement drawing the alien's attention. "You misunderstand," she said quietly. "We're not showing you our capacity for violence. We're showing you our capacity for survival." With a gesture, she activated the second part of the transmission. The quantum displays lit up with carefully selected glimpses of humanity's hidden achievements. Antimatter containment facilities buried beneath the lunar surface, quantum fold generators capable of bending space itself, and the massive underground cities that housed Earth's true population. "What you see in orbit around Mars isn't our civilization," Elena continued. "It's our facade, a carefully maintained illusion designed to protect us from exactly this kind of situation. The Lazarus Protocol isn't just a defense system. It's a promise we made to ourselves. Never again would we be vulnerable to an advanced species' idea of guidance." The crystalline being's form flickered, its perfect geometry showing the first signs of uncertainty. "These images, they cannot be real. Our scans. Your scans show exactly what we want them to show," General Martinez interrupted, stepping into view. 50 years ago, we detected the first signs of advanced civilizations watching Earth. Instead of announcing ourselves, we chose to hide our true capabilities. Every colony you see, every primitive fusion reactor, every struggling settlement, they're all part of an elaborate deception. To demonstrate, Martinez pressed a sequence into her neural interface. Above Mars, the struggling colony shimmed and vanished, revealing a sprawling metropolis protected by quantum shields and temporal barriers. Similar illusions fell away across the solar system, exposing humanity's true infrastructure. The crystalline being's form destabilized momentarily before reforming. "If what you show is true, why reveal it now?" "Because," Elena said, her voice carrying the weight of decades of preparation, "we're giving you one chance. One opportunity to recognize that humanity isn't a species that needs guidance. We're a species that has learned its lessons through fire and pain, through near extinction and rebirth. We don't want war with the Meridian Collective, but make no mistake, if you force this confrontation, you'll learn why we spent 50 years preparing instead of just hiding." In orbit, the quantum fold generators began powering up, their energy signatures impossible to hide any longer. Deep beneath Europa's ice, the Prometheus array stirred to life, its dimensional anchors ready to prevent any attempt at faster-than-light escape. This wasn't just a revelation of humanity's edge. It was a demonstration of their resolve. "You have 24 hours to withdraw from our solar system," General Martinez stated firmly. "This is not a negotiation. This is not an opening for dialogue about integration into your collective. This is humanity's one morning. As the crystalline being's projection faded, Elena turned to her colleagues. "They won't leave," she said quietly. "Their entire civilization is built on the concept of geometric perfection and the guidance of lesser species. Our very existence, hidden, advanced, deliberately deceptive, is an affront to everything they believe." "Then they'll learn," Walsh replied, his hand hovering over the Lazarus Protocol's activation sequence. "Just like every other force that's tried to destroy humanity, they'll learn why we're still here." In the void of space, the crystalline fleet began to move, their perfect formation shifting into something new. Whether it would be an attack pattern or a retreat was yet to be seen. But one thing was certain: humanity's hidden edge had been revealed, and there was no going back. The Meridian Collective's response came not with words, but with light. A brilliant beam of coherent energy lanced out from their geometric formation, aimed at Mars' largest apparent colony. In the Geneva Command Center, not a single person flinched. "Tracking quantum signature," Sarah Chen announced calmly, her fingers dancing across her interface. "Predictable attack pattern. Initiating Aegis response." The beam struck what appeared to be the colony's thin atmospheric shield, and simply vanished. No explosion, no destruction, no catastrophic failure. The energy was absorbed into the quantum field generators hidden beneath the Martian surface, adding to their already considerable power reserves. "Thank you for the donation," Elena Rodriguez murmured, watching the power readings spike. "Didn't your scans tell you that matter-energy conversion was beyond our capabilities?" The crystalline fleet's perfect formation wavered for the first time. Their second attack came seconds later, a barrage of temporal distortion weapons designed to age their targets into dust. Once again, the shots were absorbed by systems that, according to their intelligence, couldn't possibly exist. General Martinez stood at the center of the command hub, her expression stern. "Record this," she ordered. "The galaxy should know what happens when you underestimate humanity." She nodded to Elena. "Show them what we can really do." Elena's hands moved across her neural interface, activating systems that had remained dormant for decades. Across the solar system, massive structures began to emerge from dimensional pockets, orbital defense platforms that made the Meridian Fleet's weapons look like toys, shipyards that had been producing vessels in secret for half a century, and the crown jewel of human innovation: the Prometheus Array. "Impossible," the crystalline being's voice echoed through their communication systems. "Your species cannot have achieved this level of advancement. Our calculations—" "Your calculations were based on what we wanted you to see," Elena interrupted. "Did you really think a species that survived multiple near-extinction events would ever show its true strength to the stars? We learned long ago that appearing weak while being strong is the surest path to survival." The Meridian Fleet's formation shifted again, attempting to create a defensive geometric pattern. But humanity had studied their technology, their tactics, their very nature. The crystalline ships relied on perfect mathematical harmony, and that was their weakness. "Initiating quantum resonance cascade," Sarah announced. Invisible waves of energy rippled through space, disrupting the precise geometric formations that gave the Meridian ships their power. Their crystal structures began to vibrate at frequencies that threatened their structural integrity. "This is your final warning," General Martinez broadcast on all frequencies. "Your weapons cannot harm us. Your technology, while impressive, is predictable. We have spent 50 years preparing for this moment, studying every possible threat to our existence. The Meridian Collective is not the first advanced civilization to find Earth, but you might be the first to survive the encounter, if you choose wisely." The response came in the form of a massive energy surge as the Collective prepared their primary weapon, a device capable of inducing stellar collapse. They aimed it not at Earth, but at the Sun itself. It was meant to be their ultimate demonstration of power. Elena smiled grimly. "Activate the Lazarus Protocol." Throughout the solar system, quantum entanglement fields snapped into place. The very fabric of space-time around the Meridian fleet began to warp and twist. Their perfect geometric formations, the source of their power, became their greatest vulnerability as the quantum fields forced asymmetric patterns into their crystalline structures. We named it Lazarus, Alina explained to the increasingly desperate collective, because like humanity itself, it represents the power to rise from certain death. Your weapon cannot reach our sun. Your ships cannot maintain their geometric harmony. You have lost your perfect formation, and with it, your advantage. The crystalline fleet's attempts to reorganize grew more frantic as their ships began to lose coherence. What they couldn't understand, was that humanity had designed these countermeasures specifically for them, studying their weaknesses through carefully hidden quantum sensors for decades. The choice remains the same, General Martinez announced. Withdraw or face the consequences of your actions. But know this, everything you've seen so far has been defensive. You haven't yet witnessed humanity's offensive capabilities. In the void of space, the Meridian fleet's perfect geometry continued to fracture, their crystalline ships struggling against forces they had never encountered before. The breaking point had been reached, but the question remained, would they recognize their defeat or force humanity to demonstrate why they had spent 50 years preparing for war while praying for peace? The Meridian Collective's response to their failing formations was as predictable as it was desperate. Their remaining ships attempted to realign into a new geometric pattern, one designed for what they called absolute termination. In the Geneva Command Center, humanity's leaders watched with a mixture of resignation and resolve. They're charging their conversion engines, Sarah Chen reported, her voice steady, attempting to draw energy directly from vacuum space. If successful, the yield would be. She paused, double-checking her calculations. Enough to sterilize the inner solar system. Elena Rodriguez nodded, unsurprised. They still think we're fighting a conventional war. Director Walsh, are the dimensional anchors in position? All stations report ready, Walsh confirmed, his weathered face illuminated by the quantum displays. Project Void Walker is armed and awaiting your command. General Martinez stepped forward, her military uniform adorned with the simple insignia of Earth's combined defense forces. Send the final warning. They deserve that much, at least. The message was broadcast in all known frequencies, translated into the crystalline language of the collective. Your attempt to harvest vacuum energy has been detected. Be advised. Dimensional manipulation within this solar system is under human control. This is your final opportunity to withdraw. The collective's response was immediate, a surge of power as they activated their conversion engines, attempting to tear open the fabric of space itself. For a moment, the vacuum between their ships began to boil with potential energy. Then, nothing. Void Walker active, Elena announced calmly. Dimensional lockdown complete. They're trapped in normal space. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden fleets emerged from their quantum pockets. Not the decoy ships that had patrolled Earth's spaceways for decades, but the true might of human military engineering. Each vessel was a testament to lessons learned from countless near-extinction events, designed not for symmetry or beauty, but for pure survival. Battle groups reporting ready, Sarah announced. Quantum targeting systems online. Solar shield grid at full power. The Meridian ships, their perfect geometry now impossible to maintain, tried to scatter. But humanity had planned for this moment for 50 years. The trap was complete before the battle even began. Initiate Operation Shattered Mirror, Martinez ordered. Human vessels, dark and asymmetrical, moved with impossible precision. Each one carried weapons specifically designed to exploit the crystalline weaknesses of the collective's ships. Quantum disruptors targeted their geometric patterns. Temporal scramblers disrupted their perfect synchronization. Reality anchors prevented their attempted escape through higher dimensions. They're attempting to broadcast a distress signal to their home systems, Walsh reported. Elena's fingers danced across her neural interface. Engaging quantum entanglement barrier. No signals will reach beyond our solar system until we allow it. The battle, if it could be called that, was methodical and precise. Humanity didn't fight with rage or revenge, but with the cold efficiency of a species that had learned its lessons about survival through countless near extinctions. Primary Meridian Command Ship is requesting communication, Sarah announced. The crystalline being appeared one final time in their command center, its perfect geometry now fractured and unstable. How? It demanded. How did you achieve this level of advancement in secret? Because we had to, Elena replied simply. Because every time humanity faced extinction, we didn't just survive. We learned. We adapted. We prepared. Your collective sees geometry as perfection. We see it as a limitation. You fight with symmetry and order. We fight with chaos and adaptation. The beam's form flickered. The collective has guided 1,000 species. And that was your mistake, Martinez interrupted. You guided them to be like you. Predictable. Perfect. We guided ourselves through our own near extinctions and emerged stronger each time. One by one, the Meridian ships were disabled, their perfect crystalline structures disrupted beyond repair. Humanity's vessels moved with practiced precision, executing maneuvers they had drilled for decades. Containment field stable, Sarah reported. All surviving Meridian ships are secured. Elena stepped forward, addressing the fractured being before them. Your ships will be escorted to the edge of our solar system. You will return to your collective with a message. Earth is not a primitive world awaiting guidance. We are not an imperfect species requiring correction. We are humanity. We survive. We adapt. We prepare. The crystalline being's form stabilized slightly, and if the collective does not accept this message, Martinez's smile was cold. Then we will demonstrate why every other advanced civilization that discovered Earth's true nature chose to leave us alone. We don't want war with the collective, but we've spent 50 years preparing for it. Think carefully about what that means. In the months following the Meridian Collective's defeat, the galaxy experienced a fundamental shift in its understanding of power. The story of how a supposedly primitive species had hidden its true capabilities for half a century while preparing for any possible threat spread through interstellar channels like a quantum wave. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the newly established Galactic Council, Earth's first public appearance in the wider cosmic community. The chamber, designed to accommodate representatives from 1,000 species, fell silent as she began to speak. For 50 years, humanity hid in plain sight, she began. We maintained a facade of primitive technology, while building our true civilization in the shadows. Many of you are now asking why. The answer is simple: survival. The assembled representatives, crystalline meridians, energy beings, biological entities of all forms, watched as she activated a holographic display showing Earth's hidden history. Not the sanitized version they had been shown before, but the full truth. Every near-extinction event taught us something, Elena continued. Nuclear war taught us to unite. Climate crisis taught us to adapt. First contact attempts taught us to prepare. The Meridian Collective's recent attempt to guide us simply proved what we already knew. Appearing weak while being strong is the surest path to survival. In orbit above Earth, the planetary defense grid was now fully visible. The quantum shields no longer hidden, the dimensional anchors operating openly. Humanity had decided that after the Meridian incident, deception was no longer necessary. You fear us now. General Martinez spoke up from her position beside Elena. Good. Fear breeds respect. But understand this. Humanity doesn't seek conquest. We don't desire to guide other species or impose our will upon the galaxy. We simply wish to ensure our survival. A Meridian representative, their crystalline form more subdued than before, rose to speak. The collective has existed for millennia, guiding younger species toward geometric perfection. Yet in 50 years, humanity achieved what we thought impossible: perfect asymmetric warfare. Because we had to, Elena replied simply. Your collective seeks to make all species follow the same path. Humanity's strength lies in finding our own way, in embracing chaos while maintaining control, in turning our greatest weaknesses into our strongest advantages. The chamber erupted in discussion as representatives debated the implications. Humanity had not just defeated the Meridian Collective, they had fundamentally challenged the galaxy's understanding of civilization advancement. Director Walsh, now Earth's primary diplomatic representative, stepped forward. Let us be clear, Earth's solar system remains under our protection. We will share our knowledge, trade our resources, and participate in galactic affairs. But any attempt to dominate, guide, or correct humanity will be met with the full force of our capabilities. The message was received. Across the galaxy, advanced civilizations that had dismissed Earth as primitive now reassessed their understanding. The species that had hidden its true nature for 50 years, that had developed technology specifically designed to counter any possible threat, that had turned deception itself into an art form. This species could no longer be ignored. In the depths of space, humanity's true fleets patrolled openly now. Their ships, designed for function over form, reminded the galaxy that sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one that chooses to hide its claws until they're needed. The age of hiding is over, Alina concluded her address. But remember why we hid. Remember why we prepared. And most importantly, remember what happened to the last civilization that thought humanity needed guidance. As the council session ended, representatives from across the galaxy approached Earth's delegation with proposals for trade, cultural exchange, and diplomatic relations. The species that had spent 50 years preparing for war now faced a new challenge. Leading through peace. In the Geneva Command Center, now openly acknowledged as one of humanity's primary defense installations, Sarah Chen monitored the quantum networks that connected Earth to the galaxy. Multiple civilizations requesting technological exchange protocols, she reported. Some of them quite advanced. Helena smiled. Accept the requests, but maintain the Lazarus Protocol. Just because we're no longer hiding doesn't mean we've stopped preparing. The galaxy had learned a crucial lesson. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their advanced technology or their military might. It was their ability to survive, adapt, and prepare, all while making potential adversaries believe they were harmless until it was too late. The era of deception was over. The age of humanity had begun.